Alrighty. Took me 10 minutes to get that to work. I don't know why, but YouTube didn't work tonight, so broke. I'm gonna see if I can reclaim. I had to shut down and start over again. So what do we got? Did I lose everything that I was working on? No. Okay, good. Stop. Don't freak out on me, you stupid computer. Did we lose everything? No. Okay, good. Got it running. Jeez Louise. I don't know what the heck the deal is with it tonight, but that was not useful. Not useful at all. All right. So let's see where we are. Plans for 2021. Because this year is going to be a wash. But I'm relatively enthusiastic. I think I have one little other thing I need to figure out for the monthly challenges that I was working on. Name-wise, I have a few other things I maybe want to play with. So looking at January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and November, and December of next year, I have a thing set up for each. Janimation. I think I still want to rename the Alphabet Project for February. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. March to Your Own Tune. It's not quite perfect, but it'll work. Script Frenzy. May is, I'm still trying to figure that one out. I had it before as making movies, but I'm gonna jump that down to something else. So May has become the one I have to find the right name for. Because what I was looking at is for June, I guess I'm gonna just decide to do my own game jam design stuff. But it happened that there is a game jam proposed for, well, I don't know if they're doing it in 2021, but they did one in 2020 that was Solstice Game Jam. I think that's what it was. Let me see if I can pull it up. I got the hiccups bad because I overate. I think it was over here. Nope. I have mislocated it. Where are we at? Please don't be a monster. Okay. So it was, wow, I popped a lot of things in front of that. The Solstice Game Jam was running from June 22nd to June 29th this year. So theoretically, if they do one next year, they will be doing it on the 20th to the 27th, I think. That's sort of the idea. But I want to do game jam design stuff for all of June, essentially. That's the plan. Each one of these is for the month that it belongs to. And June 2020, or 2021, 2020, we've already been there. I keep wanting to obliterate it from my memory, but June 2021 is Tuesday the 1st and ends on Wednesday the 30th. But the summer solstice, I believe, if memory serves, is the 20th. I'm second guessing that now, but I think it's the 20th. 20th to 27th would be the summer solstice week if they did it for the summer solstice game jam this coming year. I think that's how that's going to work. So what I'm thinking is setting it up as a game jam from the 1st of June to the summer solstice and calling it Solo by Solstice Game Jam. And that gives me time so that the contest it's not really a contest. There's no losers, so I guess we can't call it a contest. But the challenge ends on the solstice. That gives me from the 20th to the 30th, 10 days to review and share and do the end of Game Jam celebration stuff. So I think that works really well. And it also means that if they do a 20th to the 27th Game Jam, that people are able to go from mine to theirs. It's going to be an online virtual Game Jam, so it's not going to be hosted at a location of any kind. But I mean, if people wanted to do, if we wanted to do a podcast or a vlog stream, I could probably make something like that work. But that means that I had the chance to find something to fit in June, which we knew had to be either a game jam or we were going to do a photo book. So video games go into June. Solo by Solstice Game Jam. And the point of calling it Solo by Solstice is it's intended to be everybody who's creating a game is doing it by themselves. Because usually with a game jam, you have these events where you have, I don't know why chat's not showing up. Is the video live? Yeah, we're live. I don't know what YouTube is doing tonight. It's made live streaming more difficult somehow. Anyway, the thing about game jams is they usually tend to be 3 days to a week at most. And if I'm going to give the whole month, the other thing to keep in mind is oftentimes you'll have 2 to 5 people working on a game, but I want it to be solo game jam. It's individuals. You're doing your music, you're doing your graphics, you're doing your level design, you're doing all the parts and pieces that you're going for with this game. And so it's a solo game build. You got 20 days essentially is what we're going for. And I think that works reasonably well. And I want to make it possible to do board games, not just video games. So I am sort of debating whether or not I want it to also be solo games. So like a lot of video games that are made in game jams are single player games. So that's not going to be a huge stretch. But tabletop games are a little bit harder that way. So if you could make a tabletop game that could be one or more players, that I think is possibly another fun feature to add to it. So January's Janimation, February's Alphabet, March is March to Your Own Tune, Script Frenzy in April. May is something to do with making a photo album, because June is Solo by Solstice. July is Independent Film Month. It's Independence Day. Come on. So starting on Independence Day, July 4th, to the end of the month, you make a film, an indie film. And then August is Harvest Fair, Painttember for September, Inktober for October, NaNoWriMo for November, and Vlogsmas for December. I think I'm trying to brainstorm creative names for May. I still can't see the chat. I hope I'm not missing anything. Why is this behaving like this? I really don't know what they did. They made it impossible. It took me 10 minutes to get the video up today. I started at 11:40. It took me to 11:50 to get it up and running. That's the part that ripped when I set it up the other day. This is the green screen, by the way. The green screen. It's the opposite of green on the camera that I'm seeing right now, which is funny because on here it looks very orange when I'm looking at my screen. But that is not orange. That is a bright fluorescent pink. Pinkish orange. It's more like it might be a magenta. I think that's probably more likely what it is. Oh, just out of curiosity, what color is that? That's about right. Craft sticks. It's got a slightly pinky. This one has on here, it's a little more muddled. In person, it's got a little bit more of the pinkish tones to it. Maybe that's just the way the camera's set up. Maybe it's my eyes. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to see about the possibility of inviting other creators to partake of events this coming year. So the Game Jam, ironically, might be the easiest thing to invite people to participate in. Janimation would be a little difficult, I think. Alphabet Project. Okay, so let's do a little brainstorming for May and the Alphabet Project. I did debate about whether to rename NaNoWriMo, but I'll be doing NaNoWriMo in November. But the thing about a NaNoWriMo is it's national, N-A, novel, N-O, writing, W-R-I, month, M-O. It's not national anymore. Half the people I participate in National Novel Writing Month with are from other countries. And some people aren't writing novels. They're writing other things, short story collections, video game scripts, things like that. And I think the only thing that is really what it is anymore is Writing Month. But if I were to rename it, I would probably call it, well, I might still go with national, but I was going to go with N-A-N-O Vember. Nanovember? Nanovember? In November, International Novel Writing, or International Novel Vember. I don't know. Let's just stick with our world novel. Whoa, November? Nah. Global. G-L-N-O doesn't work. G-L. Glonovember. Maybe. I'll write it down. Global Novel Writing Month. But at any rate, Inktober is Inktober. September is Paintember for me. So that's where we start to get into things where, like, Inktober, National Novel Writing Month, and Vlogsmiths all exist as far as other people are concerned. Script Frenzy doesn't exist anymore. It used to, but everything else on here, I think, is pretty much me. I'm trying to start them from scratch. So it's going to be trickier to invite and get others to participate in. But doing an animation in January, the Alphabet Project, I think, is the big one, and then making. Because May has to be the photo book. And I sort of have to come up with the rules for some of these things. Like making a photo book, I kind of want it to be in May that you take every single one of the photographs that you're going to use in that book. So if you want to have 130 photographs, how many days in May? I'm not very good at remembering that. Okay, so May 2021 starts on a Saturday, ends on a Monday, has 31 days. If you did 3 photos a day, 5 days a week, well, that's sort of arbitrary. I should probably look up how many photos are in the usual photo album. Or not album, but how many photos to make a photo book? Okay, so that really depends on your layout. How many pages? Let's just do an Amazon search. Photo book. Photo book for Amazon. No, not a photo album, you dumb twit. Okay, so The Americans is a photo book, hardcover. Okay, how many pages? Okay, that's a pretty straightforward. It looks like the layout design is every page is a photo on one side, and then the opposing page is the name of the photo. So, like the first one here is Funeral, St. Helena, South Carolina, and then the photo it's talking about is right there. So that's about as straightforward as we can really hope for. How many pages do we have? Do we have data on that? $180 pages, so 180 photographs. That's pretty substantial. All right, so 180 divided by, let's say 25. That'd be about 7.2 photographs a day. So that leaves you a little room on either side of the start to end of the month where you may have a day where you can't do it. So like 25 days instead of 31 means that you have wiggle room. So 7 photos a day. You could do it. I could see that working. That's a really dedicated, like I could see doing 10 to 15 photographs a day on some days. Now, say you did 18 photographs a day. You'd only have to do photographs for 10 days. I could see that working. And then by the end of the month, you're trying to get it published. Well, self-publish. You're not going to get it published, I don't think. Is what I shouldn't say it that way. You're going to try to release your book by the end of that month as a self-published photograph compilation. And you do that in May. So sort of like National Novel Writing Month, you'll have the time beforehand to plan out what you want your book to be about and figure out your setup and arrange the opportunity to do the shoots. But I want you to start on the 1st of May with your first photograph. You're not going to start with existing photographs and try to make them into a book. Okay, and Script Frenzy is pretty straightforward. It's similar to what we used to do for Script Frenzy. I think it was a 100-page script in a month. So let's do we do, I think we could probably get away with 150 photos for May. Just setting that as an arbitrary limit for now. 100-page script for April. I may dig around a little bit more in some other photo books. What else do we have? Uncommon Places. So it's a photography author. Okay, how many pages? And what's the layout design? $208 pages. Okay then. I don't think that's gonna get done. What do we got? Abandoned, hauntingly beautiful, deserted theme parks. That's kind of cool. I'd check that book out. 216 pages. So it looks like they're erring on the side of 200 pages mostly these days. And do we have any other photo books? Abandoned Malls of America, Seth Wallace. So I imagine his books. Let's see if we can do. Is there more data here? Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Has to be in a category of some kind, right? Photography and video. So let's see. Modern color. Let's see what that is. Okay, how many pages are we looking at? 320. Holy crap, they're just all over the place, aren't they? That's weird. So they don't have any really kind of standard to work to. Portraits. Bystanders. Let's just see what we got here. Hardcover. Todd Hito, Intimate Distance, 25 Years of Photography, a chronological album. Okay, so 272 pages. Okay. So, yeah, that's interesting. Color work. No, well, let's see. I mean, it's weird because the pricing doesn't reflect necessarily how many photos are in it. Yeah, see, 120 pages. What does the page layout look like? So each page has a photograph. Some have blank space on the left-hand side, some don't. Interesting. All right. Yeah, I can't really tell for sure. All right. So, I mean, that one's at like a $55 version where other ones are 20 some odd bucks. So, you know, that's one of the smallest numbers I saw was 120. So if we say 150 photos for a book, that's doable. I mean, I've seen less than that. You can do more than that if you so choose. But to hit that mark of 150 photos in a month into a book. So that works. And then June Solo by Solstice Game Jam. Board or computer. In 20 days. Well, by Solstice. Because if I do it more than 1 year in a row, next year's Solstice won't be in 20 days. I think it'll be 21. I think that's how that works. I'm a little vague on how the solstices range from year to year. And then indie film, a film in a month, pretty straightforward. Harvest Fare is recipes. A recipe a day was really what I was thinking, but that might be a bit much. Well, maybe not. 30 recipes in a month. Huh. Does August have 30 or 31? My memory is just not where it was. 31. So 31 for August. Now, would that be you have to create a recipe a day, or you just have to cook a recipe a day? That's got to be just make something and share it, I think. Because generating new recipes is not as easy as a lot of people think they are. Just try a new recipe every day for a month. That's fun. Try something new. Maybe take a picture of what you made. And then make a list at the end of the month of the ones you like the most. And any changes you would make to them. So that's a recipe a day. Try a new recipe each day. Paintember. Inktober is doing an ink drawing every day. Do we want to do a painting per day? It gets tricky when you start moving into oils. All right, that's tricky. So do we do? You do some painting per day at least. I can see that working, like a watercolor or an acrylic. You could do a painting per day. You could do multiple paintings in a day and trim that so that you don't have to do it every day. I am kind of curious how many paintings it would take to get to an individual art show. Vlogsmas is a vlog every day, which I will try to do this year. Just spell it again, because that's what we're doing. I still like. And so I'm doing Nano this year. That's one of the things I'm going to do. I'll probably talk more about that Tuesday night after I vote. That'll be fun. We'll see how that goes. 50,000. National Novel Writing Month is 50,000 words in a month. And then indie film is a film in a month. That's pretty straightforward. Now, March to Your Own Tune in March. What do it's not a single song in the month of March. How many songs? Can't be like a full album, can we? A song a day? would be a lot. Best known for, okay, Jonathan Mann is an American singer-songwriter best known for creating and publishing a new song and video each day since January 2009 under the YouTube channel name Song a Day. Wow. I'm going to have to check him out. Song a Day, huh? It's in Westford, Connecticut. That's pretty intense. Oh, June 17th, 2020. Pack-It Up Boys, we're done. Song a Day, number 4,186. Yeah, no. That's too much. I can't do that. I cannot do that. Song a day for a month. Oh, I don't know. Part of me says, like, how many songs in an album? Do people even do albums anymore? Average number of songs in an album. The long and short of it, what is an album in 2018? Okay. If a product contains 4 to 6 songs and has a total duration of 30 minutes or less, it is generally classified as an EP. Therefore, an album is typically 7 songs and runs over 30 minutes. That's just a level of persnickety that I can kind of get behind. I kind of like that. It's like, well, it's an EP if it's only 6 songs and it's less than 30 minutes long, or 30 minutes or less. But if it's 7 songs and has 31 minutes of music, then it's an album. That kind of snark I can get behind. I'm there for it. I don't need to look anything else up. I'm there for it. Okay. So 7 songs minimum 31 minutes. So you can just, technically it's an album. It may be the worst album ever produced, but technically it's an album. Okay, I'm there for it. I dig that. All right. Okay, so, and I guess I could probably look up something similar for what constitutes a film. I think short films are like, they can be like 3 to 7 minutes long sometimes. Vlog a day. Okay. So I got to remind myself that Solo by Solstice is meant to be solo creator possibly solo play. Let's see. So 100 script, 7 songs, minimum 30. Okay. What's the minimum requirement? I almost don't want to lose the page for. I'll favorite it. I don't want to lose the page that has that snarky comment about how long a album has to be. Okay, how long does a movie have to be? How long? Average length. Okay, let's do that. Average length of indie movies. I don't think anybody's expecting an indie film to be profitable. Feature film is a film with a running time long enough to be considered principal or sole film to fill a program. Short films. Okay, so what does it say for short films? A short film is a motion picture not long enough in runtime to be considered a feature film. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences defines a short film as an original motion picture that has a runtime of 40 minutes or less, including all credits. In the United States, short films are generally termed short subjects from the 1920s into the 1970s, when confined to 2 35mm reels or less. The featurettes for a film of 3 or 4 reels. Short was an abbreviation for either term. Okay, so 40 minutes or more would be a feature-length movie. That'd be ambitious to shoot 40 minutes of movie. Oh, but I mean, we're giving them a whole month. I think if we do it right, I think I'm going to have to look into it a little bit more. What's the... there is a film in... No, that's not what I was looking for. God dang it. Film challenge. Let's look that up. Challenge. Yeah, I know I spelled challenge wrong. That's fine. Just, you know what I mean. You clearly have it spell checked. "48-hour film project." So they have the 48-hour film project is a weekend to go from no script, no anything. You set your team up beforehand, you get ready, you get the prompt, you sit down, you do the writing, you start filming, and then you release it in 48 hours. That's ambitious. But if we're giving them a whole month, independent film month, in July. Jeez Louise, that's ambitious. So 31 days in July. So say we do 30 divided by 2 equals 15. Theoretically, if you did a 48-hour film project, you could do 15 films in the month of July at that pace. Now, that's impractical. So if we half that again, let's say roughly 7 films. And you figure, we didn't get a sense of average length of a short film. Length of a short film. Short film can be anything from 15 seconds to 45 minutes in length. As short as possible. How long is a short film? Shorter than 50 minutes. Come on, you're all just bumping things up further. How many short films are made each year? How long can a short film be? No. What's the average? I literally wrote, what is the average length? You're just being a dork. "15 seconds to 45 minutes. If you shoot too fast, your short film might end up looking amateurish. It has to be cheap, but shouldn't look cheap. Plus, if you want to get your short in a festival, then keep it to no more than 10 minutes, which is usually 7 to 8 pages maximum. Why? Because if your short film is longer, it will eat up a longer slot, and festivals love to play as many shorts as possible. So 10-minute films. So if we did that calculation roughly, 10-minute films, if you did 15 of those in a month, 150 minutes. So you could do a feature-length movie in a month if you were to do the breakneck speed of a 48-hour film project. 150 minutes would be, you could do a full 2-hour film if you did it right. All right, so now that's just spitballing. I know there are other things that it doesn't necessarily scale at the same rate. Like saying that it takes 48 hours to do a quick 10-minute or less film does not then mean that with 15 days out of the month, that's every other day, that you could get. You can't. You can't just use that calculation. I get it. It's not the same thing. But I'm going to say feature-length movie. It's a challenge. That's the whole point. Try to challenge. Feature-length film in 30 days. I'll put in parentheses what feature length is. 45 minutes or longer. That's ambitious. Because I think a lot of people are going to want to do shorts. Because if they want to get into a film festival, they want 10 minutes or less, right? If we do that, though, let's see. What does July look like? If we start on the 4th of July, it'll be a Sunday. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's tough too. Because here's the thing, you could do a 45-minute or longer film in 30 days, or you could do 4 10-minute long films, and they'll be about the max size you want it to be at a film festival. And that would be a film per week for a month. That feels like a little more interesting, I think. I will put them both down. Week. Equals. So a film per week for a month is pretty much 40 minutes even. And I mean, I could potentially run them both at the same time, 2 different categories. Short makers and feature length makers. So that would be interesting to try. Janimation, I got to figure out what we're doing there. That's animations in January. Honestly, how long does it take to make an animation? That depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you're doing a detailed animation, I want to say, oh, that's tough. Because I've seen people do like stick figure animations, and those animations they do them in an afternoon. But I've also seen people invest the time to do quality animations. And like if you look at stop motion animation, something like a Wallace and Gromit, you have people who spend years for like a 40 to 60 minute film. I feel like at that point, if you want to just try out doing a stick figure animation and just go at it, or if you want to do a motion tracking suit and do a animation that way. I mean, I think that one's going to be just more of like leave it open to people to do as they want. Because I would love to see like hand drawn animations. I want to see stick figure, digital puppetry animation, stop motion animation. Any which way people could do it. I'd love to see what people do. So I think at this point, it's really just an animated short. Well, let's just say, like, if we give, let's do another search. There is a YouTuber that I sometimes watch. Okay, so he did 1 minute animated short made in 1 hour. So I will look into those. "12-hour animation challenge." So I'll look at those and get a sense of what the length of time put in gets for a length of time out for animation. And then based off of those ideas, use that to establish the sort of benchmarks for what a month should be able to achieve. And likely I will trim it so that it's like 25 days of work rather than 30, so that you get a day off each week or whatever. And then I will probably also just err on the side of it'll take you longer than these other people who have already done it before kind of thing. So I'll give it wiggle room. But I think that's the next step there. So we did 7 songs, minimum 31 minutes. Yeah. Alphabet Project. I think how vague or how specialized do I want to make that? Because there's a couple ways I could do that. The Alphabet Project could be literally just making a different letter of the alphabet in different ways each day for a project. So you could make a calligraphy A and a crocheted B and wood carved C. You could literally do something like that each day of the month. And at the first day of the month, I give the theme. Oh, I don't know. Do we want to do it that way? Or do you try something new that starts with a letter? So literally, could you do, crochet would be C. What, wood carving would be W, or woodworking. Maybe. I mean, I kind of feel like it might be more fun if, say, a wood carver got to do a letter for each day of the month, and a crocheter could do something for each day of the month. They don't have to change it up every day. That's sort of my thing, where I'm inclined to try a different art form every day, different medium. But maybe I could do sort of split the difference. I could do a prompt each day that starts with the letter of the alphabet that it is. You decide what medium you want to use, and you decide if you want to spell it, if you want to do calligraphy and just write it, or scroll work, or however you want to do it. I don't know. I think I'll have to really bounce my head on that one a little bit more. So I'm going to look a little more to the. Yeah, I think those are the only two, the Janimation and the Alphabet, which weirdly enough are the first ones coming up. So of course I don't have them figured out yet. Okay, so let's hash that out later. We're at an hour. I should call it for the night. I can't see you, so I hope you're doing well, and I can't type the reply tonight. I don't know why YouTube is picking this fight with me today, but I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, take care and have a good night.